And now, unbiased and independent, here is your Manhattan Weekly Market Report with Noah and John from UrbanDigs. Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs, and it is Friday, so you're going to get your Manhattan Weekly Market Update. John, lots to talk about today. Let's first start with supply. 6,266 things trying to sell. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, and supply continues its slow but steady increase up. It's another 1.5% this week, and you can see that that uptrend is pretty much firmly in place by now. We've been up for now about a month and a half of so supply building, but it's been quite slow.
Yeah, and when I look further in the data, Johnny, I'm seeing that new listing activity is coming in on trend. We're actually seeing what we're supposed to see in terms of new listing activity. It's just not creating any type of push higher in the inventory numbers, which we'll get to in a little while. Let's first shift to pending sales, the measure of Manhattan demand, 2,310. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, and this is our third week in a row of an uptrend here in the pending sales number. That's up 3%. So I think we can officially say that the pending sales have bottomed and they are on an uptrend. It's a question of how high they're going to go, and no one knows that just yet.
Yeah, and when I look at deal volume is below trend. You got new listing activity right at trend. You got monthly deal volume below trend, but the good news is that deal volume is percolating. It is ticking up, and it's ticking up in a strong way. So, you got pending sales coming back. You got supply coming back. These are now muting each other out, and the market pulse is kind of lingering around 0.37. And it's really a matter of which one of these forces starts to overwhelm the other to see which way this pulse is going to go at the end of the day. And you know what? I'm hearing a lot of anecdotal evidence about inventory being stale, a lot of lingering listings, frustrating listings, not a lot of stuff. And it's probably because a lot of the new stuff is getting absorbed, Johnny. And I look at this chart of supply, and the number where we're at right now is definitely, it's not high. It's not low, but it's not high. It's closer to the low side. But I want to point out what typically happens in January. Right. Typically, we see that listing activity come in. And if you look at this chart, of course, exclude the pandemic, which is right there. But if you look at all these charts, you're going to see inventory moving higher and most of these cycles, right? And usually the move higher is kind of like a V. And now when you look at us, we're just kind of L-ing out here. We're not having that V recovery. And I think that's why. It's feeling that way, Johnny. And let's go to the weeklies, see if there's any clues there, and we'll get some information and interpret it. John, 1 week supply, 429 things, up 38%. Show me that chart.
Yeah, and that more than made up for the quieter week last week. So that was up roughly 39%. We're back over 400 listings in a week. And I think the last time we saw that was September. So it was sort of the start of the fall busy season. So we're supply on a weekly level, Noah, when you're looking at that pace of new listings is coming in. I mean, this is an on-trend number here.
Yeah, totally on trend. Totally on trend. March and April, we're supposed to be at about 1,600 for the month. So you'll think about 400 per week. That's exactly where we're supposed to be. And that's what makes this whole thing vexing. If we're having the new listings come on, why isn't supply going up? And wait for it. More information, and maybe that'll become clear. Johnny, I'm looking at contract signed, 1 week pace, 233. That's also up 18%. Show me that chart.
Yeah, and back over the 200 mark again. You're looking at that percentage change, and it is higher because we had that down week last week. Still below where we were 21, 22, obviously, but we've been making this comparison to the so year of 2019, kind of as sort of a kind of a normal measure, and we're above that. So contract signs are coming in a little bit above that pace, but it's a good sign as you're in the middle of this busy season now to see that number back over 200.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the time. Sellers, if you've been waiting, you want to get on right now. You want to get on while the deal volume's coming up. Granted, it's light. It's coming in below trend. But you know what? If we could sustain 250 deals a week and get up to 1,000 deals a month, that's kind of where we're supposed to be on the deal volume level. And that's what we're talking about here. And Johnny, look, just yeah.
And I'm just going to jump in right there. And I'm going to say this goes back to the supply talk. I mean, one of the things we talked about last year was that supply and demand kind of fell in unison, and that kind of kept the market pulse and kind of kept the market balanced. Here we almost kind of want to see supply because no, as you're talking about, right, the new stuff just flies off the shelf and it's going into contract pretty quickly, whereas the stuff that's remaining on the market, anecdotally, we're hearing is somewhat stale. So, to get back to the idea that we need to see some contract signs, or it'd be helpful to see, 400 plus contract signs or 200 plus contract signs a week. We're going to have more supply in order to get that done.
I don't know if that's going to happen, John. And I think if you look at the 1 month trend over here, off market is really, I mean, you go to a forum, we're talking about this all the time. David's talking about this all the time in the forum. Off market is the missing X factor here. Even though it's down on a change monthly basis, that's a seasonal. That's what's supposed to happen with off market now this time, because listings are coming back online. This is still a high number. This is still a high number.
It's down a bit, but when you zoom out, it's up there.
It's a high number, and you got 849 things signed. You got 519 things going off. You add those two together, and it's still kind of higher than what's coming on, and that's what's causing this supply that's not being pushed. There's no power to push it up, and I don't know. I'm questioning if we're going to have enough new listing activity in the next couple of months to even change this trend drastically. So. Yeah. I think supply is going to stay tight for the cycle because sellers just don't have an interest in a market that don't get their bids. And talking about bids, Johnny, let's go to price action. Let's go to price action, and let's talk about something that not a lot of people are talking about. Okay, we have been saying this on our meetings. Price action is starting to show recovery. All right. I don't know what you want to say. We're going as far as November, right, Johnny? November. If you signed a contract in November, this is a monthly look. Okay. And this is a 3-month rolling average number. The red is showing you condo price per square foot. The blue is showing you median sales price for market-wide co-op and condo. We divided it by 1,000 so they could be on the same scale for that blue line, right? And you can see what's going on. And look at both of them. You can see the drop and price per square foot, that red line, Johnny. I don't know what is going on here. It says that we're at record prices. Median sales price is saying a much different story. It's showing the rebound, but we're down. I feel like median sales price trends more accurately reflects the reality of the market. Although I'm trying to figure out what is going on with that November print in price per square foot.
Right. And when you think about price per square foot, right, we only measure resale condos for this measure. So you think about condos are already a subset of the market. And then you're looking at sort of almost like a luxury view into what's happening, just because there's far fewer studios than there are 1-bed, 2-bed condos. So you're naturally skewed to those higher price points. But I think you're absolutely right. And it's interesting to see that long slide in median price. Nothing dramatic, but you could tell that there were some pressures in the market. And it seems like we're getting a little bit of a bump up. And honestly, no, I would not have expected that heading into this year to see that November prices would signal a tick up.
I would not have expected it either. This is surprising to me as well. I think median sales price is going to show the depth of this downturn with a lot more volatility than price per square foot resale condo. Of course, we don't have co-ops in that measure, that red line. I don't know what to make of it. There's two things I'm thinking. Either the co-op market, right? The median sales price trend of the co-op market is dragging because that's 60-70% of our housing stock. So when you strip that out and you only look at condo price per square foot, you see, okay, maybe the condo market, there's just a higher concentration of more luxury condos, maybe more renovated condos, maybe larger condos. The nature of this pandemic, condos with views, I don't know. Maybe if you think about that, maybe the makeup of the sales and is what's causing a higher level price per square foot, whereas the blue line, the median sales price, which has all the co-ops and it has the condos on median sale price, that's more accurately kind of showing the trend in terms of price action. I don't know. I'm curious what the audience thinks about this, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll bring it back to supply. I mean, this market, you live by supply, you die by supply. So when you're in a supply constrained market and you're entering sort of a busy period, here we are now, we are starting to see activity percolate, as you mentioned. Listings on a new level are coming in at a healthy pace, but overall that supply number isn't really budging. And I'm curious to see how that's going to affect prices going forward. Yeah.
It's a very mysterious, complex, a lot of forces at play here, and we're going to be analyzing it week after week for you just to see if any of these data points ultimately give us clues in terms of the depth of the cycle, the duration of the cycle, and where we are right now in this cycle. Very interesting stuff. Thank you, John Walker, for pulling up all this data. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We're both from UrbanDigs. Don't forget, you guys got questions. We got answers. Please visit our forum right down over there. And if you want any of the reports that we whipped up today, it's going to be right over here in just a few moments. Other than that, this has been your weekly Manhattan Market Update, and we'll catch you next time.